Man, I can't believe I'm actually agreeing with the game on this topic, man. You know, because usually I'm like, wait, is it crack? You know, like I'm wondering like what he's, what he's on. But on this regard, man, I'm not even gonna lie, he made really good extent to a certain point. But you know what? Let's watch this video.
Boy will be Tupac of this generation. So sometimes when you see a 18-year-old kid say NBA Youngboy is better than Tupac, it's not because he actually is, or Tupac is better than NBA Youngboy is better than Tupac. It's just the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron thing. It's just like different eras of greatness. You should just appreciate him now, because an 18-year-old cannot appreciate or relate to Tupac because they weren't even alive. NBA Youngboy will be.
All right, well, okay, you heard that, right? It wasn't as bad as people was making it seem, but I will say, if you just look at the headline, right? The game says NBA Youngboy will be Tupac of this generation. If you just looking at that headline right there, which a lot of people do with a short attention span and shit like that, if you just looking at that and then you base your opinions off of that, you'll think he's crazy. You'll think all these negative things about him. But if you actually listen to what he says, is not too far-fetched, okay? It's not too outlandish, and it's not too crazy of a statement for someone to make. I will, like I said, honestly, I will agree with him on this, okay? So to me, what I've summarized it as is he's saying NBA Youngboy's influence on the younger generation, 18-year-olds and shit like that, it's gonna be at least comparable or maybe even greater than Tupac's influence was during his time. Like I said, it seems crazier than what it actually is, man. When he broke it down, and I'm gonna break it down a little bit too, it does make sense, because he made it clear. He's not saying Youngboy is better than Tupac, okay? That's another thing. I think people was getting it confused. The game is not saying that NBA Youngboy is better than Tupac. He's not saying that. But just the influence that NBA Youngboy has nowadays, which I personally can't compare it to Tupac when Tupac was alive, because I wasn't here during that time. So he's pretty much saying his influence, or Youngboy's influence now, is at least comparable to how Tupac's influence was back then. You gotta think about it, and if you pay attention to the comment section, like how I do, if you look at like damn near every music post, right, of any rapper, anybody's music, you look in the comment section, you could at least guarantee you're at least guaranteed to see one Youngboy better comment or YB better comment. Bro, it's annoying to see it, bro. I will not even lie. It's annoying, but at the same time, that just goes to show you the influence he has. Because for people to be going out of their way to comment that on people's posts, influence, man. And this is another point that he said that I completely, like 1,000,000% agreed with, and it relates to Youngboy and Tupac. He mentioned Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron effect. A lot of us younger individuals now would never be able to truly appreciate the greatness of Michael Jordan. Okay, we could appreciate the sneakers, yes. We could appreciate the Jordan brand of clothing, yes. But in terms of his basketball prowess, or so people say, in terms of that, a lot of us younger individuals could never appreciate that shit. Most of us, the most we've seen of Jordan is the highlights from his 6 rings, the highlights, and at least maybe somewhat of his career in Washington when he was playing for the Wizards. So we will never be able to fully appreciate his influence and his impact on the game. We just gotta hear it from old heads and shit like that. That's as far as our reach is gonna go when it comes to Michael Jordan. The older heads will always be able to appreciate that shit. It's just like with Youngboy and Tupac. Older heads will never be able to understand the impact that Youngboy is having, but they'll always be able to understand the impact Tupac had, and vice versa. Younger kids will never be able to understand the impact Tupac had, but they'll be able to understand the impact Youngboy had. Just like with Kobe and LeBron. A lot of like middle school and high schoolers now will not be able to appreciate what Kobe meant for the game. R.I.P. to Kobe, the legend. They'll not be able to accept and understand. Maybe even the elementary school kids now, when they eventually are adults, they're not going to be able to appreciate what LeBron meant to the game. It's a cycle, man. It's the aging out process, man. It's the aging out process, but it relates. I think it was mostly older heads who was really upset with the game for making these comments. But you gotta really just sit back and look at it objectively. You see when Youngboy beat that case, how they was outside the court, how his fans was outside the courtroom cheering. That's influence right there. That's impact right there, bro. Youngboy's about to be going on tour. Let's see if that translates though. But the fact that they was outside the courtroom and when he beat the case, they was all singing his song. Like, that's
the United States of America versus Kentrell Golden,
Kentrell,
aka Lil Top, aka Live.
I mean, come on, you can't deny that's influence right there, man. Like I said, I do fully 100% agree with the game on his comments on this topic right here, right? And you just really gotta think about it. No 18-year-old will be able to appreciate Tupac unless they go out of their way to go listen to his music. But if the only thing they hear from Tupac is whatever his classic ass songs that they play on the radio, that's all they'll be able to say Tupac is. That's why when people like the game said, people say Tupac, Youngboy is better than Tupac. I hope they don't. I hope they don't literally mean that shit. But even if they did, they only say that because of they've heard majority of Youngboy songs and they've heard like 2 or 3 of Tupac songs. They can't fully understand. That's why whenever I see comments like that, I just laugh it off and scroll right by it. They don't mean that shit. You can only, another conclusion I've come to, you can only say this artist is better than this artist when you've given both of their discographies a good listen to. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think about this topic though, man. I already posed a question on my community tab. Make sure I go check that out. You know, of like, do you think Youngboy's influence will be at least greater than Tupac? Let me know what I think about that though. I know that's a very tough thing to say because I've come to realize you can't say anything negative about Tupac. Like, you can't compare any new school rapper to Tupac, bro, without some type of backlash. I've realized that, but so you got to be able to do it at least somewhat. They got to be able to compare, you know, to somebody, you know. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it, man. Road to 5K subs, man. We God, we close, man. We close. Thank you. More videos coming soon, man.